In this video, you're going to learn about Codex and how exactly you can go from beginner to advanced using Codex in less than 10 minutes. In this video, I'll also go behind the architecture of Codex, tell you exactly how it differs with Claude, which is the other model from Anthropic, and these are the two best models, and where do they perform best, and for what exactly you want to use Codex for. Also, later, I'm going to share with you free assets through which you can create so many skills and you can automate your business, your personal life, and also really in a speedy manner make your web app and mobile app. So let's jump into it and not waste any time. So some of the topics that we are going to discuss when it comes to Codex, it's really important to understand Codex can be used using many different methods. First of all is a CLI. This is usually the terminal that you have. For example, if you open your terminal, I've just opened CMux, and inside CMux, you could just go in and you could just write Codex. This is automatically going to start Codex. You can select different models. And right now, the default model is GPT 5.5. This is one of those ways to exactly do it. If you want to install it, it's super easy process. You have to go on your computer and use npm install -g OpenAI, as you can see. And through this is all going to be installed. This is one of those ways, and I recommend this mostly for developers. For non-developers, you could use other methods because they are also excellent. Second is actually, and the one that I use the most, and you're also going to realize it, is Codex app. This is the mobile app that we also use. Sorry, this is the web app that we also use. And you can see I'm running a lot of different projects here. The best part about this is that it also has an internal browser. So if you're testing out your web application and you want to exactly see what is happening, you can just see it really fast inside this browser that you have. You have a terminal, you have many different things. And if you want to visualize code, you could just click on the right and exactly see what code has been updated. Also, when you click here, you can see many different updates of the code. And for us on our side, we are building on many projects that you can see, and I'm running all of these projects simultaneously. That's why you can see a lot of development happening. And you can also realize that I use it mostly through the Codex app because it's really excellent. Also, I feel like the credits run out really slower in the Codex app compared to the terminal. So that's one of my secret reasons for also using the Codex app. Also, this can be easily connected to your Notion, your Google Calendar, your Gmail, and I believe this is going to become a super app which everybody is going to use. And in the future, we're going to stop using browser. So that's one of those bets that I think is going to happen, and Codex app is excellent. Thirdly, you've got something like ChatGPT.com Codex. This is something that I personally do not use. I don't like using it through the browser, but this is the app that you could just do it. As you can see, you can also use it on the browser, and you can also download it for Mac OS. Also, we have got iOS, we have got IDE. For example, you can also use it inside GitHub. You could also use it inside VS Code, Cursor, GitHub, all of these places. So this is also another method to use Codex properly. Also, now I want to mention exactly what's the big difference between Codex and Claude Code. Codex, obviously from OpenAI, Claude Code by Anthropic, they're always competing with each other. What exactly are they good at, and what are exactly the benchmarks? So first of all, looking at the terminal benchmark, this is the company which does all of these benchmarks. They feel Codex is significantly better. If you can see at 77.3%, this is for reasoning that they are testing, and you can see Claude Code is at 65%, and previously GPT 5.3 models were here. Then on the other side, the SWE Benchmark Pro, when it comes to programming, they specifically mentioned Claude Code is better and Codex is a bit less than that. So you can see different benchmarks are positioning it differently, which also makes sense. But if you ask me personally, I like and I enjoy Codex significantly more than Claude Code because Claude Code runs out of credits really fast. I feel like sometimes I'm running commands and it runs out of it within 10 minutes, which is super annoying. And also in our internal test with the team, we realized Codex is almost giving us 3x more credits, even though it is the same price. So that's why we prefer Codex. One caveat here is that if you want to develop front end, Claude Code is significantly better. Codex is somehow not developing the front end as good as we wanted. So that's one of those things. Also, on top of that, you can also look at other features for sandboxing, application layer hooks with Claude Code, OS kernel. This is one of those things. GitHub Slack PR. There's also native integration inside Codex. When it comes to async tasks, you would also got in Codex, Cloud Sandbox, and Cloud Code only allows real time only. One thing that we have seen that every day things change so fast, and a lot of things Cloud Code copies from Codex or Codex copies from Cloud Code. So things are moving really fast. Just today, Cloud Code started setting up goals, which was one of the most famous things that you could do with Codex. That when you go into the terminal, you assign it, this is my goal, please try this, and this is the outcome I want, please achieve this outcome. So that's one of those things, and this is the biggest competition that you're going to see. This is more like Google versus Yahoo from 1997, where Google ended up beating Yahoo, but it feels like it's almost as big as this. When it comes to how to install it, how to set all of this up, I want to mention ChatGPT Plus authentication. That's something that you could use. NPM install just like we did, and then you can write Codex, and then it automatically opens it in a terminal of your choice. Second method is obviously if you ever have to authenticate, install, and first run, you can also use API key. For that, you need to go inside OpenAI. They have a developer section. Inside that developer section, you can just go and access these API keys. So that's also really good. So you can also authenticate it with this. Third is always Codex app, macOS. You could just go and sign in automatically there. So there are many different methods through which you can sign in. We've just tried to keep this video as basic as possible because in the other videos, we're going really in depth on how to build billion-dollar businesses or million-dollar businesses using Codex or Claude Code apps. Also, at this point, I want to mention agents.md file. This is the agent file where you can specify many different outcomes that you want. And you can specify what is exactly the skill that this file needs to have. And just by using this, you get huge advantages. For example, you can select exactly which languages do you want. So this is what you're specifying. So Codex already knows. Then without age, you can also specify, hey, if you're writing any code, please make sure that more tests are written. You can specify how the behavior of any of your instructions has to be. And these agents.md files are excellent because for me, when I'm developing, I like to develop in Next.js using Superbase. So that's the information that I've already mentioned inside my agents.md file. And when I'm starting a new project, I could just start prompting. And because my agents.md file has all the system instructions, everything happens really perfectly. You could also see in agents.md file, you could also specify automatically push to production. So once something is done, just merge it, push to production. That's also something that I use because I want my code pushed automatically, because once it's automatically pushed, I can also see it in production or the staging environments and different staging environments that you're set up. So if I have to say, agents.md is one of the secret sources which is out there, and that is something that you should really use. And also, if you're applying for Y Combinator or different incubators, they're usually asking you to share your agents.md file because they want to see how much you have thought through and how in a non-raw manner you're actually coding. So that's obviously excellent. Now we look at real workflows that Codex can automatically do. For example, GitHub PRs you can do automatically. Imagine you receive a bug, then you can just go inside Slack and you can mention Codex. And from there, Codex is already connected to the GitHub repository. It finds the root cause of the problem, it traces the fix, it tests it, it opens PR, and then we review it and merge. This is one of those things that we have seen people inside Slack, which is a messaging app, are actually sorting out all of their and solving any coding bugs that they're receiving. CI/CD Autofix, that's another workflow. Imagine you push the code, the test fails in CI, continuous integration. Codex automatically fixes it. It reads the trace, finds the root cause, it writes the fix, and the pipeline becomes green. So it's automating the whole entire CI/CD pipeline, which used to be extremely annoying. I'm not going to lie. I've worked in companies with thousands of engineers, and it was a huge problem. Thirdly, async long tasks. Imagine you've got really huge tasks, which are about scraping, which are about anything, which requires a lot of back and forth. So you open Codex app, you submit a big task, the cloud sandbox completely syncs up because it makes sure that everything stays in the sandbox. Then Codex runs in this sandbox. Then we close our laptop, we go to lunch, and when we return, everything is already sorted out. So we can see that these are the real workflows that one can do with Codex. For this reason, we really, really like it. And obviously, this is also simple. For example, when you are orchestrating, when you've got a natural language, when you're writing a prompt, there's an orchestrator. GPT works similar to Claude Code, where there's an orchestrator which is trying to delegate different tasks. It's trying to understand, is this task related to payment, code, notification, authentication agent, and based on that, it makes separate tool calling that you can see here. Also, based on this honest verdict, which I also mentioned, I feel Claude Code is significantly better than Codex is significantly better than Claude Code when it comes to everything other than front end. For front end, I'm using Claude, but this is today, 13th of May. Honestly, tomorrow things could be different because the updates are so fast and things are happening really fast. So if you want to stay up to date, because I'm testing all of these out daily and giving this information, check out my school community and also check out my daily streaming, because I'm streaming and vibe coding a lot of different businesses and showing how to do it. So that's going to be amazing. And if you want to learn and get proper courses, this is the best place to be. We've already gotten 408 members, and we've got a classroom filled with many courses which are going to help you like crazy. So that's it for today. If you liked it, like and subscribe, and see you tomorrow with new videos, because we have got daily content and tutorials coming in.